There we go. Now it's working. I'm going to light some sage. There we go. It's really good to see you, by the way. It feels like it's been ages.
It's real. I think it's been about a year at least. So
really? That long?
I think so. Yeah. I mean,
I've been going through a lot. I've been going through transformations and all kinds of interesting upheavals and shedding of the old, as they say. So I
tis the
just
season.
lost track with a lot of people, and I thought I hadn't seen Michael in ages, so that's why I reached out to see what you're up to. I didn't realize
really,
it
really
was
appreciate
that long. I thought it was like half of that time. Time flies, though. Really, it's been going nuts with time.
Yeah, I think it's been at least a year. Well, that's nice to
Amazing.
see some sage there.
Nice to see you all. Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
Good to be with everyone. Hello. Maybe I should also connect some things.
How's everybody feeling this morning? It's been an interesting evening. First thing I saw when I woke up this morning was the news about Dick Cheney. So I've been dancing around my house playing War Pigs by Black Sabbath. I lost him. He disappeared. See? I scared him off. There we go. He's back.
I'm back.
Okay. There we go.
I don't even know.
We're having weird glitches in the Matrix today.
I'm just not going to touch that. I'm happy to be here. It's good enough. I don't need more than this.
Nice to see you all. Good morning. How is everyone? Daniel Jackson says, Michael, great to see you.
Oh,
isn't it
good
though?
to see everyone.
It has been a very eventful year for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of what I'm feeling right now for myself is really, I have odd memories popping up, things that I thought that I'd processed a long time ago, or things that I'd completely forgotten about. And what I was feeling in my yoga, like in my home practice the other day, because I'm also aware that I'm moving up into my throat center, which is really for me, it's a different type of discomfort than when I was working in my heart. Like the heart was so...
speaking your truth, Michael? How exciting.
Yeah. With new flavors. But it's a different type of discomfort for me because it's more connected to maybe guilt or regret or like things misspoken, like that type of discomfort versus like heartache and betrayal, despair, those kinds of things that might be connected to the heart. And the throat is also connected to the element of ether. So it's really that the finest, most subtle parts of our mind, of our psyche, of our experience. And so I feel like there's this big defragmentation happening. That is kind of like, when you clean your house and you do your quick clean when guests come over and you're like, quick, got to clean it quick. But then there's like the times you do the deep clean where you get behind the things and pick up. I've
been doing that for the last 2 days. Funnily, you mentioned that. Cleaning out the closets, cleaning out the garage, moving stuff around in the basement, all that kind of stuff that you don't normally, out of sight, out of mind, right? You just kind of leave it. And that's the stuff that builds up on you over time.
I'm going to switch on my air conditioner because I'm fortunate enough to be in a very hot place right now. But tell me if the sound bothers you. Because I know you're probably in winter time.
I don't hear a thing.
You can't hear anything, right? Okay,
nope, good. You're all good.
Good, because I'm like starting to get really hot.
We don't want you to start perspiring here. Michael's in Thailand.
Like I'm getting pink.
So, so in regards to out with the old, in with the new, what's been going on?
Wow. Well, some of you are aware that my personal life has been a really big, all of our personal lives, but I'll speak from my own experience right now. I'm in a really huge passageway. And for me, that passage has been happening for about, I think, Lionsgate last year, so not this past one, but the one before.
Yes, lots of shifts been happening since then.
And I've been in an ever deepening process of ego death. and constantly surrendering deeper and deeper layers of this identity that I've developed. And so I feel like for me, what that means is I'm really aware of what I'm letting go of. I can really see it, really feel it. I understand it. It's deep. And what's coming next is a complete, well, I'm not entirely completely brand new, but for me to like, what I'm feeling is that for me to transition into that space, I've got to let everything go and completely allow the void to be there, to make the transition. And I think that might be a theme for many people right now, is that the next thing isn't quite clear yet, but there's a growing sense of needing to really be established in the present and be deeply satisfied. Kind of like me trying to connect all my Facebook things right now. It's like, actually, I'm good. I'm actually really good. I don't need any more than what I've got right now. I feel deeply satisfied. So I think that for me, that's the practice right now, is coming back to this moment, as cliche as that sounds, but being deeply fed by that and nourished. Yeah.
I have gone through 5, maybe 6 at this point, major life resets.
Yeah.
You know, where basically everything in your life changes. Sometimes overnight it can change. Where you move, where you have new relationships that either fall apart or develop, where you have this, it's almost like a dark night of the soul that you go through when you're trying to discover who your new version of you is going to be. And it can be exhilarating, but also terrifying at the same time, because you're stepping way out of your comfort zone every time that happens.
Absolutely. And I think that I was thinking about this before getting on here, because I'm in such a huge dark night of the soul period. And what I find about this one, that maybe it's similar to the other one, but I'm different in it than like the pre-awakening stage, when that first dark night thing that happens before you start opening up to everything. This one now feels, I have my faith is very strong. It's very clear. And that's all I have at some moments. And that's deeply satisfying. So I'm finding that it's not as hopeless as maybe some of the other dark night or, big sheddings that I've gone through. It's actually very hopeful. And so it's a walking through that, that's the biblical thing, the valley of the shadow of death, walking through as everything's crumbling, but I really know that
you've walked that valley before.
I've walked it.
Now.
I'm a Scorpio sun, moon. I think I have 4 placements in Scorpio. I don't know much about astrology, but my life signal is that of rebirth, death, renewal. So I'm, as much as you can, I found some comfort in that process. And try to find new ways to be playful in it, and to keep things, just knowing that it's happening, and how do I keep myself going, and how do I just sometimes need to crash out for a bit and take care.
To put your own needs first. That's
to discover a big one. Even what my needs are.
Yes.
That's like, I don't even know what my needs are, let alone to ask for them.
And I spent most of my even my teens in a relationship. And when you are in a relationship for so long, you tend to kind of adapt a new identity that's like a mishmash of what you know what I mean? So you kind of, in a way, at times, lose yourself in a relationship. You lose your identity sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean,
women even lose their name.
Almost entirely. Yeah. I think, there's that natural part of the merging that happens, that interdependence, that fusing of identity a little bit. It's like there's the individuals and then there's the shared entity that's the relationship. And, the one that I'm transitioning out of, I'm still in the process of it, but I'm in the end stages of that. I was 25 or 26 when that relationship started. That was so long ago. My brain was still finishing up being developed, let alone to know who I am and to...
You're a very different person from that age.
I'm very different. So I'm in a process of really coming home to myself. It's brand new. I'm like, it's like dating myself in a way, or like a blind date in a way. It's like, who are you? What do you need? What do you like to do now? What do you used to do that was really brought more life and energy to me that I've forgotten about. So it's like a life review, which I think that's what Ascension I think where we're going. There's this process of life reviewing because that old part is passing away, if you will. We're shedding it off. So it's like we're kind of doing our own life review as we move into that. To the
Normally they call that, I think, a midlife crisis.
That's what they call it. You call it whatever you want.
You're not there yet. You're not at that age yet, Michael, but it's like that.
I'm about to turn 40 in a week. Not that that's old or anything,
well,
but it's a gateway.
It's great. You're gonna love it.
I'm very excited about it. I feel really good about it, and yeah, it's sweet. It's like parts of my body's changing. My stamina is changing. My drive towards external things. It's a pulling back, like retracting those tentacles into. I don't need to do that. I think I actually really enjoy being at home and being quiet and having nice music on.
It's definitely your 40s. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're there now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great though. I love it. I mean, I was funny. I was in Amsterdam a couple of years ago, and I went to a club like I used to in my 20s, and I felt so out of place and so awkward. All these young people running around. I was like, oh my God, I really am too old to be in here now. And like, when did that happen? Like, whoa. It happened during child rearing does that to you too, where it just blinks, like it's gone. Like your years of your life are just gone. And so what do you do when you realize that? You try and jump back into it. You're like, put on your old clothes, your old bell bottoms and things you wore like 30 years ago. You try to start, embracing your younger self. And I think that is a way of keeping yourself young, to kind of embrace that, because we let too much of life's day-to-day, the drudgery of life wear us down over time. That's what makes us feel older. Because age, in my opinion, is really, your body ages, but your mentality, if you can keep your mentality young and keep yourself active, your body won't age as fast as everybody else's.
Thank you for sharing that. It's reminding me of, I just re-listened to Anna, Grandmother of Jesus by Claire Hartsong. I don't know if you ever read the book or heard of it. So I think it's like my third time over the years tuning into it for fun. And I really, it struck me again, this teaching that came through multiple times throughout the text of this woman's capacity to rewrite her own consciousness, to override the death program, the death momentum, and to be able to renew herself and to renew the cells of her body. And I feel that there is this. Right now, I'm in this process of even shedding like the soul memory, soul identity in a way, and tuning into the monad. The monad's actually a big part of my teaching in the quantum recalibration system, my new hypnosis method that I've been delivering. Yeah. Because it's not even because the soul, from my language that I'm using right now, that the soul is immortal, yet the monad is eternal. So this even allowing yourself to even drop off this, the mindset of being trapped in karma, reincarnating over and over again. If we look at the teachings of the non-dualists, the Vedanta, things like this, you've never been born, it's an appearance. Even the incarnations were something that was imagined up. They never truly happened at the level of the absolute. And so I think this process of revitalizing, renewing, coming into higher, at this stage of my life is really it's dropping the identity with the personality, dropping and honoring the identity with the soul, and really just allowing myself to sit back into that pure awareness space.
That's beautiful. Mindfulness is one of the best things you could be focusing on right now, just living in the moment.
Absolutely.
So much of what we carry around with us, we carry from our past because we're still living there. And you're not going to manifest the reality you wish to be in if you're still living in the past.
Absolutely. And I think that there's, especially with so much emotional, mental amplitude with different things happening on around the planet right now, I'm very sensitive to like, even because I like to check the news. I like to know what's going on, especially now that I'm over here on this side of the world. I like to say what's happening with everyone over there in the US or in different parts of the world. And I find myself being extra sensitive, even more than I ever have been, of like, oh, I don't want that actually in my own head.
Well, you
'Cause
can feel the difference in vibration it makes. You feel good, and then you read the news, and you're like, ugh. Like you can
Absolutely.
feel your vibration plummeting as you look at it. But I
And
guess
I
it
used to
depends on
find
how
it.
you treat it, as well, because some news, even though it may seem like the three-eye atlas everybody's talking about. Everybody's got different opinions as to what it is and if it's going to be good or bad.
I have for probably 6, 7 years or so, I've been working with a couple. No, I mean even maybe 9 years. I've been working with two clients. They're not clients; they're friends now. We're really good friends, but periodically, every 3 or so months, we tune in and I get information. And what was coming through at first with the Three Eye Atlas stuff was, maybe these kinds of things. I was going into all the questions about Nibiru, solar flat, all that kind of stuff, and they said maybe all of that will happen, maybe none of it will happen. What's more important now is to look at the present moment, realize life could change like this, and how much have we invested into our moment now. And I've taken that invitation to really stay out of the stimulation of looking at too much of the Three Eye Atlas stuff, just because it could go either way. People can go doom and gloom, or they can go into like.
Available. We got all kinds of different futures at our disposal.
However, I can say that I feel a difference. I do feel that there's a new energy moving through. I'm in a constant. My body's really sore. I have a lot of things going on, and I've spent a lot of my life dancing, doing a lot of yoga. I was trained professionally as a dancer. I think I take very good care of my body, but I'm realizing how much the muscles and the tissues have really held on to, and how much like deep emotional stuff is still there. And I'm in a pretty, I'm getting massage quite frequently, because here in Thailand you can do that's really, really affordable for a Westerner. And wow, I can't even tell you the amount of pain I'm going through as they're like stepping on me, rubbing their elbows, and they're really quite physical with the massages here. But
Thai massage is the best, yes.
But I think that there's a lot moving through, and I do feel this. It's like a complete cellular ejection of everything that's all junked out, and it's translating as tension, knots in the body, all kinds of things going on. And the body work has helped me a lot. And I really encourage anyone, if you have access, it's kind of the last thing that some people think about in terms of self-care. And I really encourage, not even just getting it like once every few months, but having consistent body care. If you have the ability to do that for yourself, or to do a trade, to have body work right now, I think is really, really important, because we're bringing so much light in, and it has to translate into those more dense layers of all these vehicles. So don't neglect the body. It's really important right now.
The most important thing right now, I think, is our bodies are. So just to confirm a little bit more, I work with Galactics pretty much on a daily basis. I have conversations with Pleiadians pretty much every night. So I asked them as well about Three Eye Atlas, and they said that it was a loophole in their ability to influence the shift. So it's an object that was sent. It's been basically encoded with very, very high frequency vibration. So when it comes around the Earth, it's actually raising the vibration of the whole planet as it's coming close to us. So you will notice more and more shifts in frequency, more gifts coming online. They said your empathy, your ability to feel energy, but also to connect with spirit is going to be much stronger. So your intuition will be stronger. Your ability to hear your guides will be stronger. Your ability to be messed with a little bit by entities is also stronger, because the veil is thinner right now. And the thinner the veil gets, the more susceptible we are to influence, not just in a good way, but in a negative way too. So it's important to keep up with psychic protection, to make sure that you're grounding, but also to take peak, care of your vessel right now, to make sure that you're getting the rest, make sure that you're getting lots of hydration. The water is very important, especially right now, because all this all this high frequency energy, it is going to need to be transmuted, and it's going to have to be, basically your body is pulling in all of this extra light and all of this extra energy, and your body is going to have to account for that. It's going to drain you more. It's going to need more water, more rest, more nutrients. So if you're denying yourself these things, you're going to feel off. You're going to feel worse. You're going to feel sick. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel all kinds of weird and ungrounded. So it's important right now to really put extra focus and attention into self-care. Absolutely agree with that. Sea salt baths, yes, Christina, are a great suggestion. Add a little bit of magnesium to that as well, because magnesium is really important right now. I'm taking over 800 milligrams a day of magnesium right now. The guides are constantly saying you're not taking enough magnesium. You need high doses of magnesium right now. And B12, they said B12 is also really important because your body is not getting those things from food as much as it should be. So if your body is going through these rapid changes, it needs extra nutrients in order to be able to acclimate to these things. So make sure that you guys are eating properly, more live food, more living food, like plants, green juices, that sort of thing. Really, really important right now. The guides were telling me that there's 7 different types of magnesium in the magnesium tablets I take. Kat was the one that was talking about it. I'll just show you the kind.
Which one I take. I have it over there on my counter.
So what do you take for supplements, Michael? Or are you just eating lots of fruits while you're in Thailand?
I'm in an interesting phase. I feel like I am kind of off duty a little bit. Like I'm eating whatever I want. I'm eating to it's like a soothing, like a heartwarming kind of thing. So I'm really I take myself out to eat. I eat a lot of meals by myself. I also have some really good friends that I'm sitting with, and I'm just eating. I'm enjoying being with people. So I think like I've been eating burgers again, which is a really new thing for me, like because I spent many years vegetarian and vegan, but I've really needed the protein for all the processes that are happening right now. So really, and I guess also to work through the spiritual stigma of thou shalt not eat meat, and to sit with that for a bit. And I know there's a few people that dear friends of mine that are going through a similar thing where they've spent a lot of time in a spiritual community, different types, or a spiritual identity, and there's been like kind of a reintroduction into mainstream culture in a way to meet the prejudices and the biases that they might have, and to transmute them. But I think in terms of supplements, I've been getting into the ocean a lot.
So that's really good. The ocean is very important. Yes.
Ocean in the sun.
Very healing.
I guess supplemental bike rides. I think I've been
you're getting a lot of B12 out of that bike. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, but also juices. I've been doing some cold pressed juices when I need days to really lighten up everything and to really move some energy. And I've been off. It's a little harder to get good supplements where I am. Those of you that are in the Western world are really fortunate to have the access that you do.
And healthy food there. That's one of the best things about it is how affordable the live living healthy food is. And then probably not as sprayed as they are here. This is one of the big things here is the amount of chemicals in the food. It's very hard to eat healthy here because even if you're buying healthy food, it's been sprayed with shit. So
absolutely. I can't recommend enough.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about how much of a new experience that you get when you travel to these places, because in America, you get a very limited perspective on what's happening in the rest of the world.
Well, one thing that I want to say before transitioning to that, just a quick one, is really it seems so simple and maybe silly at times, but I really encourage people to take a moment before you take your food into your body especially if you know the food is a little bit impure or very impure, and you're just treating yourself for fun. Just to take some time to intentionally connect with that food, give reverence, have your prayer, if you will, or put Reiki, cast
Give
light
thanks.
into your food, just to really like be grateful for the opportunity to have this food. And you can ask for the impurities to be purified in your digestive fire, and I think that connection with it will bring so much more joy to the act of eating. In terms of the traveling, it's interesting because I've spent the last 12 years traveling a lot. I've been to 25 or so countries, hundreds of sacred sites all over the world. I can tell you that I was quite exhausted after all that whole period. Okay. So I've spent about 10 months now in one place, which I haven't done in over 12 years. I think this is officially like the longest time I've been in one place, and it's a very small island that I'm on. But what's really great is that it's a very international island. It's also full spectrum. Like there's a really beautiful spiritual culture here, ecstatic dance, cacao ceremonies, yoga, white and red tantra. We have the whole thing here. So there's that, but there's also really great electronic music events, and you can go out and dance until the sunrise. So you have the full spectrum of experience on this tiny, tiny little place. And there's people from all over the world coming here. I think everyone has that shared intention of wanting to come and to connect to joy in whatever way that they do. So there's a lot of very happy people here, and from all over the world. So I'm really enjoying meeting new people, new friends.
Yes, wonderful. I spent many years backpacking myself. I traveled for 15 years. I had to travel at least every 90 days. You know what it's like with resetting visas. And,
yeah, I just did my third visa run, border run to go to Malaysia. Yeah.
Every 3 months, I would be like, well, I guess I would even spin the globe on occasion. I'm like, well, where am I going today? Like that kind of thing. That's how I ended up in very remote areas of Africa and all kinds of weird islands that most people have never even heard of, and all kinds of really exciting places. And I don't think anything expands your consciousness quite like travel, quite like getting to know other cultures and getting to know other people and embracing it fully. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You can enjoy your cheeseburgers, but making sure that you get in with the locals, try the local food,
absolutely,
the local experiences, and really just embracing the culture, I feel, is one of the best ways to combat any form of ignorance.
I think part of the reason why I'm here in this particular place is because the culture of the Thai people, they've never been colonized. They're the land of the free. I think Thailand means land of the free. Either that or Siam, I forget which one is which, but they've never been colonized. So they have their own mindset around things, their own values. There's a strong influence of Buddhism here. So there's a deep...
wearing my little Siddhartha pendant today.
So really...
planned with him and Angelica this afternoon, a little private chat. So yeah, I'm very much embracing the whole Buddhist thing myself right now.
Absolutely. I just want to finish with these Thai people are so sweet. They're so gentle and so reverent. And my hands come to Namaste multiple times a day, and then to pray, to bow to the people. There's just such a reverence here that it's attuning me to something really deep within myself. And Buddhism for me has been really nice. I've circled through the philosophy and the teachings a few times in my life. It was the first teaching that got me to expand beyond my Methodist Christian upbringing. It was I remember the book by Thich Nhat Hanh, Living Buddha, Living Christ. And I took this book and I was I thought because it mentioned Christ that maybe I wouldn't go to hell if I read this book, that maybe God would let me read this book and it would be okay. Little did I know that it was going to inspire such a huge internal process, and to deepen my faith and to deepen my awareness of me and my inner world. And this time coming around is really sweet. I live, I don't even know how far you would say, maybe a couple like 100 feet, 200 feet from the first temple that was put here on the island. And it's a really special place. Really, no one goes there anymore, just when they have big events. And so I go to this really special inner room for prayer and meditation time. And no one's ever there. It's just me and these statues covered in gold foil, like such a special little spot. And yeah, if anyone's feeling that they want to explore it, or even if you have some prejudices and biases or fears around it, I really encourage you to go out and get some materials and just get familiar with it and have an open mind, because it's a really beautiful system.
Oh, lovely. I think most people that are, coming to terms with the religion that they've been basically, indoctrinated with since birth. I mean, I was raised as a born again Christian, so I jokingly refer to myself all the time as a recovering Christian, because I absolutely believe in Yeshua. I know Yeshua is a real person. I've spoken with him myself quite a few times, so I know he's real. But at the same time, I still have biases that I am working to heal from my Christian childhood, where I was paddled and reprimanded for stupid shit and really mistreated for even asking questions. And that is it's hard to process that. It's hard to relearn. I mean, even just looking at the title of the book, you had this quick little moment of, oh shoot, is this going to get me in trouble? Because we've got so much deeply ingrained from our history, and most of that, I hate to say, isn't even just from this lifetime. It comes from many lifetimes of persecution for all kinds of things. So this is one of the very first lifetimes we've had on this planet in a very long time where you have religious freedom, where you have the opportunity to travel and to get to know other religions and to expand your consciousness and to have the freedom to ask questions, whereas before we would be punished for that. So I really want to applaud that for you, Michael, for combating that and for recognizing it, that it's something that needs to be healed.
Well, I thank you so much. I think I want to give credit to Jesus, to Christ, for he was my foundation at that point in my life. And my faith was so strong, even as a small child. And I remember maybe in third grade, there was like a Bible release program in school, like where I could go and like go to a church thing once a week during school hours. And I remember them talking about being saved and all this kind of stuff, and having Christ to be your best friend. And there was
amazing how it's deeply ingrained in there. It's going to be in there forever. Yes, I still remember those conversations myself. Yep.
And I felt it to be really an important moment. It's a really pivotal moment of my entire life, because that relationship that I built in that moment, and that young child version of myself that so wanted to, because the church that I went to is really sweet. I didn't have a lot of the gritty, hurtful things around, other than just the limited. I was very blessed. I should send you a picture sometime. My church was so cute. Like, you might be able to fit 50 people in a tiny little white church with a steeple in the hills of West Virginia. So sweet. But this message of unconditional love, planetary service, this was deeply ingrained into me. My grandmother was a minister and church leader, and she told me at a very young age, you've come to remind people of their connection to the divine, that's the only problem here. It looks like there's many problems, but there's only one problem, that we've forgotten what we are, which brings me to this other thing that I wanted to highlight, I guess. If we look at, right now I'm studying Kashmir Shaivism, which is it's called Trika philosophy. It's looking at the three aspects: the self, big self, the universe, manifested universe, and the transcendent. And there's this working with all three of those components together, where some religions just focus on the transcendent part, God, and deny the self. Some religions are more of like about the universe and about worshiping things outside.
Yeah.
This philosophy is really unique in that it looks at all three and values all three as part of that great system. And what I want to say is something that's going to slice through a lot of the conditioning is to transcend the identity that we've created. I started speaking about this a little bit, that we're not the mortal body that's going to be discarded. We're not the soul that continues to be, in the processes of reincarnating for whatever reasons it is, but we are source consciousness itself. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that absolute. When this isn't necessarily something you're going to go around and tell everyone all the time. I am God consciousness. I'm source consciousness, because then that's just the ego. It's a elevated, prettier version of the ego, maybe. But to have this internal knowing, maybe even having the mantra alive within your mind as you're moving throughout your day, just so that you can remind yourself that I am that boundless, eternal, infinite consciousness. That's going to help. From that one place of shifting your identity, the whole system can start to reconfigure. All of a sudden, you're not a lower being, being punished by a deity. You are that deity, experiencing itself in this form. This universe is not something separate from you, something that needs to be rejected, but it's an extension of you, that infinite consciousness. If we just look at that one mantra, and there's a lot of teachings on it, and this mantra shows up, I am that I am. There's many different ways.
I am is one of the most powerful declarations you can make. Yes.
This is the Sanskrit word. And so what I was shown, I had a really powerful experience a few months ago, that I was taken to, there was a big reconfiguration happening. I was kind of flattened while all this stuff was happening to me. And I was taken to the center of creation, into the source point itself, in that first expansion of consciousness. What was shown to me was that movement. Behind that movement was this process of I am. Through that I am, the whole thing was created. And I was shown that if we can drop the mind in each moment, even being aware that there's a thought process and an identity, and radiate, if you think even right now, I am. If you can focus on that thought of I am, but start to notice more subtly, where does that thought emerge from? If you can follow that in, that's going to be a really powerful key that's going to unlock something very special. There's more to that vision that came up, but I can't stress it enough that we can use all the self-help techniques out there. We can try to fix our personality, go to counseling for 10,000 years, multiple lifetimes. All of it leads to the point of knowing I am God consciousness. This is what Yeshua was saying when he was telling everybody I am God. It's not, he was saying the mantra. He was claiming what we all are.
Yes.
And so I just really encourage, and I hope this inspires people to do a little research into those mantras, and maybe bring it into your practice, play with it for a few days.
That's beautiful. I think right now, many of us are going through such a transformative period in our lives that this is probably one of the best things that you can do right now, is to go internally, to really reassess who you are and what is most important to you, especially in regards to what you want to see in your future, because there's so much that no longer serves us, old relationships, old outdated patterns, our vices, all these things that I feel we still cling to out of nostalgia or comfort. Mm-hmm. It's like a safety blanket, and I wanted to get rid of it, or a crutch. I use cannabis as a crutch still. I'm still working on getting rid of that, which is going to probably be the last thing I think I get rid of in life.
Well, I mean, if we look at pictures of the illustrations of Shiva's God consciousness, and then we have the representations of him in form.
Yes,
he sits in an eternal cloud of cannabis smoke. His eyes are like this because he's stoned out of his mind.
There's a reason he's my favorite.
Until there will come a time, I think, when all these vices that we all have will fall away.
It's still serving me, and if it's still serving me to a degree, then I'll use it in moderation, because anything that I feel in moderation that still serves me is fine. But there are certain things in life that I need to moderate more, such as my work, I overwork
You work
too.
a lot,
That's a big part. I'm a workaholic because I love what I do. And when you love what you do, it's very easy to do it 16 hours a day. So
I don't know what's your human design? Do you know the main thing of your human design? Or are you like a generator?
I'm a generator.
Yeah, it's like because I'm a projector. I do like 1 day of work and I need like 3 days off. Like I'm literally depleted. So I'm more of like the type that's going to bring ideas in and do little, spurts of information. It's also like you invited me to come and to speak. That's really important for a projector to be invited to speak. Otherwise, it can kind of cut a little close to the bone sometimes, or when it's unsolicited.
Sorry, I haven't invited you sooner, Michael.
Yeah, so it's like really excited me because I understand the workaholic thing. I also can say a lot of that has come from me because of the level of like feeling the weight of the world, or the responsibility of the entire planet's ascension on my shoulders.
100%.
I'm sure many of us feel that. It's just kind of like we're like dragging the whole collective up, and
I'm trying to save the world here.
Well, now I'm just like, let it burn, baby. Like, do whatever you're gonna do. It's been like now like it's been lifetimes of installing new concepts, new practices, incarnated, members of the hierarchy, incarnating, high level initiates, let's say. So we could talk about initiation if you want, but incarnating at different periods to start new movements, to put new patterns out into the field. And now I feel that time is, don't take this however you will, but I feel like that time is finished. Now it's like, will people put into action what they've heard, what they've learned? Will they follow the curiosity of their soul that will lead them through the processes of initiation and coming to that full realization goal of each soul? So in a way, and also it's been interesting to see, maybe it's because I'm 40 or maybe I'm whatever, an old soul or something, but now I see like
I'm your elder now.
Well, now it's like even like the second wave or second or third wave of people doing Schumann resonance readings and getting excited about solar flares and things like that. And I
see solar flares and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Well, now I'll check on it. I was really excited about it back in 2016 when I was first even discovering that the space weather things were even a thing. Which is part of what 3i Atlas is doing for people. It's awakening that idea of there's something beyond. I'm connected to something bigger than just this, moment here with all this stuff and my family and all that. And so now there's this like, I put it down. I've put it down for about a year. I haven't been doing many sessions. I've taken a great amount of time to invest into myself. I've many days in a row where because I'm going through I'm on the other side of the deep anguish and pain and shedding and death process of it, but it was really just to like give it up, to really put it all down and give, what's the best way to say that? I guess just to give it up, let the world do its thing. Whether it's going to spiral, I think it's going to go in a great direction, but let it do what it's going to do. I'm going to enjoy my moment while I've got
go with the flow, But also practice mindfulness. You can still steer yourself on the river, even if you're going with the flow.
Absolutely. My practice is deepened. If that's anything, I took such a big time off of helping others through their process and really got to deeply invest in myself. Like I said, I think there was like 3 massages a week, home practice, eating very good, being very calculated with how much personal time. It's a very easy place to make new friends and socialize. And I was just like, oh, I don't even want to do that. I want to be quiet for like days.
Like and things too. That all these things affect your vibration. So to protect your vibration, it's a challenge these days. So you really have to have strong boundaries. You have to have, strong convictions to a degree to avoid things like alcohol or other temptations, because it's very easy to fall into old patterns. My thing right now is with food. Like I as a Taurus, and especially as an ex-chef, I could make whatever I want.
And eat all
You
the
know, and
yummy
if I'm
things.
craving tiramisu at midnight, I would just go and make it because I can have whatever I want, whatever I want. And that was the biggest thing for me, was trying to, you know, be like, well, you need to have moderation in the things that are no longer serving you. And so I've gone now nearly, what, 7 or 8 weeks without even eating sugar. And I feel my body is already starting to reward me for it. And there's certain things that we neglect for so long out of habit. And then when you start to take better care of yourself, you're like, I can't believe I haven't been doing this sooner.
I
So
love that you're taking care of yourself in a deeper way. And I really, you know, I'm a person that I had a pretty traumatic series of things that happened in my really, really young. I think it was like 10 or 11 when my brother he was hit by a vehicle. Sorry if that triggers anybody, and passed away. And you know, very suddenly, and I had a really big time of deep family-wide issues going on there, which involved me also being a drug addict for 10 years, doing heroin,
a
cocaine,
lot of us go through
stealing
that.
for money,
It's a
doing all
very
these things.
important phase, though, Michael, because we go through that. It's kind of like, if you can't really be a good crisis counselor if you've never been in crisis. You know,
Absolutely.
the best addiction counselors are people that have been through the addiction themselves and have come out the other end, because then they can show you how they did it.
Absolutely. And there
You have
was a
the
moment when I
compassion,
was
you
in
know?
high school, I heard, like, I didn't know it was clairaudience at the time, but I was encouraged to go as dark as I could because I would need it to help people later. But what I wanted to point to is I was, let's see, maybe 21, 22, very much still in my addictive process. And I went to an ashram, Yogaville, if anyone's heard of it. It's over in Virginia, Swami Satchidananda's ashram, really incredible, huge, 100, I think it's 108 acres. I literally think they have 108 acres. But I watched a video of him. He had passed away at this point, and somebody had asked him about how they should quit smoking, and he laughed at the question, and he encouraged them to. That it wasn't about quitting smoking. It was about bringing mindfulness and bringing all of your awareness to the act of smoking when you do it, to let that be, to spiritualize the habit, to spiritualize the desire, and that will work with it. And so if you're somebody that eats a little bit too much, or too many rich foods, or if you're smoking cigarettes and it's really causing anguish for you and you're beating up on yourself or feel like you're not, doing enough, I really encourage you to bring some love and care into it while you're in the act, and really see if you can love yourself and be fully present there and not go into the future of how bad it could get or why you're, be really in it. Turn your vice into a spiritual practice, and
You know what
it'll
else is
transform.
crazy too? I saw somebody the other day. I was doing a clearing on a gentleman who is an alcoholic, and he was cursing his beer before he drank it.
He's
Cursing his
cursing before
was
doing it.
cursing his beer before he drank it, because he felt so much guilt and shame over his
Oh, poor
addiction. I
thing.
know, right? He's
Oh, and he doesn't even get
cursed
to enjoy his
objects in the
beer.
house. Because that's what we do. We check curse objects every time. We checked for
Yeah.
curses on people and things, and we said, "Do we have any cursed objects?" And they said, "Yeah, his beer, his alcohol is all cursed."
Oh.
And I said, "How is that?" And they said, "He cursed it himself through guilt and shame."
Wow. Yeah, even more of an opportunity if you're gonna
Well, if you're gonna
smoke
do
your
it, at
joints
least
or do
own
your
it.
thing.
At
Bless
least
it.
be like, just be like, I'm proud of the fact that I use cannabis still. I mean, yeah, it's still serving me. I love it. It's a medicine. At the same time, I realize I need to be more mindful about why I use it and when and all of those things, because that helps with the moderation of it. But there are people out there that have been using cannabis for years for Parkinson's and all kinds of other illnesses. So, but the most important thing that my guides told me in regards to that is they said, it's a medicine. If you use it as a medicine, then instead of a crutch, it won't hurt you. It won't cause as many issues to your life as it does if you're just going to use it out of boredom or out of, just be like, well, I need something to escape right now. I don't like my life, so I'm just going to smoke my problems away. That's where it becomes a crutch and an issue.
I want to bring some awareness to like what you're sharing there, because maybe there's some other people there that I think this could be helpful in terms
Yeah.
of spiritualizing the vice, or like bringing awareness into it while you're in the pattern.
Yeah.
Because what I want to say here about this, let's use cannabis. And so, number one, being gentle with yourself while you're in the process. It's a lot harder to make big change when you're beating up on yourself or having the shoulds and the oughts all over you. Don't should on yourself is one of the sayings. And second thing is, we're going through a really huge transformation on this planet. And people will use what they're going to use to make themselves feel better to get through this. And it's okay. It's really okay. You'll make your way through it. You have love in your heart, and you have your focus. It's okay to get kind of swept up in the melancholy, in the pain of it all, and just go smoke your joint, have your coffee, do whatever you're going to do.
Feel it out, as long as you're feeling it out, that's good. You're not bottling it up. Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing is right there with the I'm so whatever, and so I'm gonna that I am. Where has the I am become attached with something that it's not, something that's not eternal, something that is changing? So this feeling of I am feeling so sad. Well, sometimes we're not sad. Sometimes we're happy. Sometimes we're experiencing happiness. Sometimes we're experiencing joy. But in that moment, when you catch yourself in your story of your identity and the pattern and the justification, all that, I'm the awareness, seeing these thoughts, acting this way. Start to separate those three layers of the physical body, the inner world, but the awareness that watches all of that. See if while you're in the habit, if you could, it's kind of like a short circuit. You're short-circuiting the system, the momentum of all those thoughts that are yours or inherited or picked up from the collective field, or it's a lot that we're processing. So you can short-circuit it, and it's a very advanced practice actually to just drop the thought, or just sit back into I am the awareness of this experience of thought right now. If you can do that as an addict, watching that video from Swami Satchidananda talking about the cigarettes, that sliced through a bunch of the bullshit a bunch of the momentum of my thoughts, my beliefs, the anguish from if I could just drop it for a second, it'll pick back up, because that's what karma does. There's the momentum with it, but to continuously have a practice of dropping it, I think is going to just really make it a shortcut of that process for people, and bring some love into it. It's okay. We're going through a lot. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, Michael. I think a lot of us really do need to give ourselves more grace, more patience, more compassion. We give compassion to other people, and yet we withhold it from ourselves all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give it. Heap loads of it. So many layers, because we're doing really big work right now, and it's not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be linear. It's going to cycle around, and you're not doing a bad job. And I know many, myself included, this also came through one of my hypnosis sessions recently regarding 3i Atlas. It says old things come up right now. Not to go into, I'm doing so bad, I'm not doing a good job because this pattern's back again, because this belief system is surfacing again. Just let it go. It's on its way out. What's more important is that you choose, again, in those moments, I'm more than this pattern. I am free of it right now if I choose to be. I think the grace is a really important part of the stage that we're in right now.
Yeah. Addiction, and at least in my past, because I've combated addiction with cigarettes and alcohol and other things, and I've also been an avid psychonaut most of my life. I've probably tripped more than 400 times, so I've been through it so many times, and I've lost so many friends to drugs, so many friends that I miss very, very much. And to know that even if in this lifetime they weren't able to beat that challenge in this life of combating that addiction, there are certain things that we heal with every time we go through this phase, because there's so many of my clients that I go into their past life resonances when I go to do a clearing on them, and I find the exact same shit they're going through right now, whether it's addiction or some kind of an abuse or some kind of a mental health struggle. So many cycles are repeating, and people think like, well, I've got a big challenge. No, you've got a challenge that you've been dealing with for many lifetimes, some people. And they think like, you know, it's not just one lifetime worth of challenge. You're trying to overcome a pattern that has been recycling for many lifetimes often, especially with alcoholism, because alcoholism has been a problem on this planet for, I mean, for thousands of years. So you can have thousands of years worth of trauma and patterns that you're combating right now in this lifetime, which is huge. I mean, but I think the major reason that is happening is because people have just had enough. They've had enough of the old patterns. They've had enough of this rat race and feeling like they're just repeating the same stuff. But there's also others who are so sucked into that pattern, they don't see any way out of it. I have a friend in the UK who I love very much, has been drinking since he was 12 years old. He's nearly 50 now. And I clear him probably once a month just because I care about what he, you know, has to bring home from his family with drinking. And I've had many conversations with him about alcoholism and about, you know, like changing the patterns. And he goes, this is who I am. Mm. That's his identity now. And you can't, I'm trying to tell him, like, no, this isn't who you are. This is just the pattern that you're stuck in. This is the cycle. And every time I clear him, I go back into his past life resonances. And sure enough, there's other lifetimes where he had the exact same problem. He's just repeating. It's like Groundhog Day, but lifetime to lifetime rather than day to day. And that must be exhausting for the soul. I mean, if you think about how many lifetimes repeating the same pattern, that it does, it's, you know what the guide said? They said, and this is really funny because I grew up on a farm, so they know me very well. They're very good with their analogies. They said, you know, it's like driving the same tractor down the same path every day for 50 years. That path isn't going to be a path anymore. It's going to be a ditch.
Yeah.
And trying to drive the tractor out of that ditch is going to feel like it's like you're trying to drive up a mountain, like you're trying to drive up a vertical, you know, to get out. And it's very hard to get out of those patterns because they're so deeply, deeply rooted. And it's possible, but you need help. Yeah. It's not easy to do that. I mean, it's already hard enough, but to do it on your own is 10 times harder.
Absolutely.
So I think a big part of that is asking for help and asking for people to come and support you and to be, you know, like to know that you matter enough to ask for that help. So almost every alcoholic I talk to is like, don't worry about me. I'm not worth it. That is a thought form that you have created.
Yeah, addiction is very often connected to shame and a depleted sense of identity and worth. And I think that, you know, it's interesting that you're bringing addiction up and somebody just put 12 steps. I did the 12-step rooms. I did NA, AA, Codependence Anonymous, Love Addicts Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous. It was like I went and tasted all the rooms, seeing which one is me. Where's the issue here? And at the same time that I was going deep into the recovery process through the 12-step programs, I was also starting to learn yoga, and I was starting to read texts like the Yoga Sutras. I was learning about the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and, you know, that core teaching of the I am. And I was learning that I am the infinite. I am Brahman. I'm that endless, eternal beingness itself. And then I would go to the 12-step programs and send maybe 1 or 2 times a day at a program meeting and say, my name is Michael and I'm an addict. And it felt absolutely incorrect for me to do that. And it felt like a trap in my own consciousness that I was participating in.
Well, you're saying I am to something negative.
I am an addict because also in the 12-step programs, they have an ideology that you're an addict forever and you have to be afraid of ever using again. If you can't have 1,000 if you don't have one. And all
having
that
to start over too, being like, well, you just went 5 years, but you have one little slip up, and now you're acting like your 5 years has to start over again. That can feel very daunting for people.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a movement right now of people that have recovered or in their, what does that even mean? None of us are recovered until we are like blazing with light, but we've recovered from the whole human karmic entanglement thing.
If it works for you, that's great, but it may not work for everybody. And that's the important thing, is that there are other options available if one thing doesn't work for you.
Absolutely. It's a step and a stage. I think what I can get really geeky with the process of it. I think when somebody is moving through addiction recovery, it's usually because their external circumstances have become so painful and so repetitive in the cycle of things. And so you're starting to learn morality, rightful action. And in yoga, this is the yamas and the niyamas. There's a whole process that as you go through your spiritual, through the process of realization, God consciousness realization, which Buddha, Christ, all those people demonstrated, that there's first, you start at the most external, your relationships, your interactions. It's like, oh, I shouldn't steal. So I need to be really aware not to steal anymore. So we do that for a little bit. That's what 12-step programs are really awesome for, because you have a group of people that can support you in becoming
that's a big part of it. Needing
a good, positive, contributing member of society, that you're not causing issues again because of your emotional trauma. As you go through that 12-step program, you're going to go deeper into your emotions and look at all those other things. But what I really want to highlight is what you were talking about, having somebody to guide you through it. I think this is very important. And the time of thou shalt not have a guru, or there's a lot of that language out. Guru translates to teacher. We need to be with our teachers. In fact, in some of those teachings that I love so much, we should spend most of our time with our mentors. The people underneath that are going to be people that are on the path with you at the same level, practice, philosophical, developing in certain ways. And then you spend most of your time with those levels. The people that are a little bit earlier on the path, but are on the path, you can kind of touch and go with them. And then the people that are on the path, you probably won't spend too much time with them. It's not best for your development where you're going to invest too much time in that category. Not as a place of judgment, shame, or anything, but deeply investing in your own time, because you want to spend time with people that are thinking brilliantly, that are acting and demonstrating in ways that you want to, values and qualities that you want to embody. And I think that's so anyway, within that role of teacher, I realized that so many people are stuck in really painful patterns because they haven't been taught how to use this incredible instrument, the body of a human being. And it's many layers, and koscious is the word that I use, but those interlocking, interweaving aspects of ourself, physical body, energy, etheric, some people might not know. I know you know. But what I loved about finding my getting into a yoga teacher training was that system was given. And I was like, oh my God, this actually will work. It's been tested and proven to work. I've taken that, we can call yogic psychology, or the process of human development in terms of ascension, and woven it into the hypnosis method that I teach now. So each time that I meet with somebody, I know that sometimes I'm only going to meet with a person one time. Within that, whether they're having a 2-hour session with me, 3-hour, or the longer one that I do, I'm introducing them to their inner technology in that segment of time that I have. They're working with visualization. They're working with awareness of those more subtle bodies. They're working with affirmation, with this I am pure consciousness. I'm connecting them to that monadic field, so that even just through the process of the hypnosis session, they're getting so many tools. They're getting their instrument and their inner technology activated. So I know how important that was for me. The first time, I don't chant Om with people and when I do the hypnosis sessions, but that first time of closing the eyes, becoming aware of the breath, becoming aware of the thoughts, that process was golden for me. So important. And so I've taken all of that philosophy and understanding of awakening, and I've put it into the method itself, so that each person is getting initiated into their technology, so that hopefully you can bypass and shortcut a lot of the patterns, the karmic momentum, and the inertia of all of that as well, and hack yourself out. And yeah, I could go on a tangent for that.
Well, for people who are interested in doing hypnosis, you're still doing hypnosis online. Yeah, you could do it over Zoom.
Yeah, I do it on Zoom, as well as in person if anyone's coming to this beautiful island. And yeah, you can go to the website
Got all
embodiedlightinstitute.org.
your deets here. I'll start sharing them for everybody.
Yeah, if you go to embodiedlightinstitute.org, you can learn about the nonprofit institute and its mission and the different systems. I'm calling them quanta systems. Many things are going to be coming out of it. Quanta meaning like that tiniest little particle of light, which that monadic seed that the entire universe can unfold from. This is kind of the ideology behind these different systems. So many things are going to be developed from each of these systems. One of them is the quantum recalibration system, which is the hypnosis philosophy and methodology. So if you're either new to learning how to facilitate those sessions, or if you've been facilitating from any of the hypnosis methods that are out there that are in this quantum evolution, niche, this training method has a lot of what I've been talking about, but it's a really rich philosophy, really rich practice. There's a 10-stage framework that people will work through, even in the 2-hour session. The framework is there so that you can guide through the process. We're not just working with past lives. We're working with inner child, family patterns, ancestral patterns. There's a lot that's happened there. Also working with the future self, highest potential timelines for a rapid integration process. There's a lot in this level 1 training. There's going to be a level 2 level. There's a bunch of things coming. I'm so slow in this human body. Wish I could just get it out. It's like I have so many things already developed. I just have to actually have the stamina and energy with everything going on to actually sit in front and do all the things. So I just launched the training. I've had it go through some past students that have looked at it, some new students who kind of just made sure that everything was in its right place. It's available now. There's no prerequisites. If you're a person that feels like, I want to lead people through their ascension process, I want to learn how to do these quantum healing sessions, I want to work with higher conscious. I've switched from calling it the higher self, because somebody that comes in that might be atheist or more secular, or come from a different religious background, I really wanted this system and for the practitioners to be very approachable, very universal. So I wanted to look at anything that could be like new agey, that maybe, and create a new lexicon, like a new vocabulary around it that could be more exciting for people. So I'm calling it the higher guidance system. It's this ability that all of us have to intuit, to tap into our inner wisdom. And if someone's ready, they can tap into even higher levels of their self to get even more profound insight and revelation. But my sessions weren't always doing higher self. Sometimes it was more focused on a guide, or I was noticing also that like younger versions of the self had wisdom to share. Like if somebody saw an inner child, so we're actually talking to the inner child in that memory to get more insight and information. And so the higher guidance system can work through the matrix of those memories that are coming up to bring information. So we're not waiting like with some of the other methods where you have to wait to the end to talk to the higher self. The higher self is
always there. It's always
absolutely. And so I'm training people how to work with that all the time. So sometimes we don't even have a formal induction with the session, and they're actually some of the session, like this, especially the shorter one, people are seated upright. I wanted to dispel all those myths of not being deep enough and all those things that
you can talk to your higher self right now. You literally can talk to your higher self like you talk to your guides, like you talk to your best friend. Your higher self is always aware of you and what you're doing. It's always tuned in. So much of what we what's funny? You know what I do every time I talk to the higher self through a client? Because I talk to the client's higher self through the mediums all the time. You know what I do? I'm
Yeah.
always negotiating with it.
Negotiating?
I'm like, come on. So I had this one friend, for example, right? And it's funny because we're talking about cannabis. This guy was my sous chef. He might even be watching right now. Hi, bud. So he was my sous chef when I was a chef a long time ago. And he and I used to have philosophical conversations about stuff, which is why we're still friends, even though I haven't been a chef for over like 15 years now. So he and I were having a conversation. He messaged me and he goes, something really messed up is going on. And I said, why? And he goes, well, he and I used to bond over our shared love of cannabis. We'd be sneaking out together to smoke on our break and stuff, you know? Well, every time he smokes now, he gets sick. And he was like, what the hell's going on? So he messaged me going, can you find out why I get sick every time I smoke now? Like, he's like, I don't just get sick. I feel violently ill. I feel like I could throw up every time I smoke. And I was like, well, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me just see what's going on. So I check him, expecting there to be like, I don't know, an earthbound on him that doesn't like smoking or something. You know what I mean? Like I was expecting something like that. Oh, I spoke to the higher self. The higher self was like, no, he's done. He's done. We're not letting him smoke anymore. And I was like, why? Like, why not? And the higher self was said, no, it's too distracting for him. It's not helping him. It's actually holding him back in life. He's got things he's supposed to do. He's not doing those things. And cannabis is the number one culprit for the reason why. So he's done. He's done. No more cannabis. And I'm like, but here I start negotiating with the higher self as a smoker myself. I'm like, but what if he cuts it back a lot? What if he does this? What if he does that? The higher self was like, no, he's done. So I messaged him and I told him this, and he's like, I knew it. I knew that my body was just rejecting it. I knew it. And he goes, and I was trying to, he was trying to find another reason and to twist it and be like, well, no, higher self just said, no, you're done. Sorry. Period. Like, holy cow.
For some people, they need to stop some things. It's really important.
I mean, the higher self has spoken, as it says.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I want to highlight again just the importance of really looking at my process has been like, for example, eating the burgers. Where did I get this thing, this belief that a burger is bad or that it's holding me back? Or that, I'm really looking at the societal conditioning around it. Where did that come from? Maybe is there a spiritual egoism involved in that? What's going on there with that? Because maybe there's a period of my life where I need to not do that because that's what came through, and that is the clarity that I know that I need to stop.
You resonated with it before, you don't resonate now because maybe there's a shift now.
And then sometimes there's like things are changing and I actually need this or this. And when I doubt that and I kind of hold myself back, I might be missing something. So for example, for me, I was in a process where there was so much transformation, so much purging, so much death happening within inside of myself that I needed to fuel it. And being on a vegan, juice cleanse diet every day was really because I tried doing some of those more extreme diet things when I was getting here because I thought that was caring for myself and I thought that was the Ascension protocol that I needed to follow. But it was actually putting a lot of stress and I didn't need it. I didn't need the physical stress. I didn't need the emotional reactivity that was coming up.
I was vegan for years and what made me stop was my hair was falling out in clumps. I was like, all right,
unless you're educated on nutrition and stuff, it's hard to be a vegan.
It was very hard. And it's also, I very much support the eat right for your blood type kind of thing. I've noticed that if I followed that, my body was at peak health. So, and I'm A negative, so I have a very rare blood type. So my nutrients and the things that my body needs are different to what other people might need. And that's okay. I mean, to each their own. You remember what Dolores used to say about food is she would say, your carrot could be just more abused than your cheeseburger, technically, because of how the vibration, the transport, the handling, all of these different things, the processes it goes through, all the chemicals being sprayed on it. So it depends on where you're getting your food as to what might be healthier than other things. And it's the vibration too.
Yeah. And that's why I really encourage people to spend a few moments breathing consciously with whatever you're eating. because
Yep.
you can
Thank you. Just
transform
give it some love. Be like, hold your coffee and be like, I love you, coffee.
Or you might hold it and spend a moment, and be like, you know what, actually, I don't want this. It was actually a conditioning thought that made me want to put double bacon on my burger. Where did that come from? I'm being greedy, you know? And so
I must admit, my veganism lasted 3 days in South Africa. For those of you who are in South Africa, I'm sure you'll understand why. There were no vegetables to be seen. Like, they told me chicken was a vegetable, and I'm like, what?
Well, because it had maybe a vegetable thing in it.
There's no vegetables. I was going to starve to death if I had gone vegan in South Africa. It wouldn't have worked. So that's, and that's why I say, to each their own. Everything in moderation. You'll find your own version of what that moderation is, and be patient with yourself while you're looking for it.
I'm really look at the thought process. I think this is where is the thought coming from that I have to do this way, or that I can't do it, or that where did you pick that up? Did it come truly from? I'm saying you, but I'm speaking to everybody and myself. Where did it really come from? And is it true? Is it the most aligned thought? Because I think, just like I was saying, at first, maybe the addict is working on the external issues that are being caused by the process, but you start to go in, you start to go more and more subtle. And there's those final stages, like I was talking about with the throat, they're really the seeds of the thoughts. Maybe the conditioning isn't active, but maybe the seed of the idea comes up of judgment or fear, but it doesn't have the full momentum and grab you like maybe 10 years ago when the pattern was super activated. So just bringing, and again, I'm the awareness of this thought activating. I'm the awareness watching it. Where does it come from? So then the process of, in Sanskrit, vichara, inquiry. This is also very woven into the quantum recalibration system. Is this, when you ask yourself the question, where does this come from? There's a flash of either memory or an idea or a knowing comes through or a word. That is that faculty of the mind is something that we're training in the quantum recalibration system to get it stronger, to trust it, to get it louder. That's how the higher self, you can call it even the higher self or inner wisdom or whatever people want to call that. But when we start to do that self-inquiry process from a non-attached place and really open, we can accelerate really, really quickly. So if you're in your pattern, if you're in the thing that's causing you pain right now, just sit back, drop it like a hot potato, look at it, and just bring some curiosity into it and some grace, and you'll be able to make your way out of it. If we keep beating ourselves up or doing an opposite behavior, that's just taking a different road to the same kind of place. So I hope that was helpful.
I've loved this conversation today, Michael. I've missed you. This is really a great chat today.
I always have so much fun with you. I really appreciate the space that you hold and the ability to have a really dropped in, comfortable conversation. I think you hold a really lovely space, and I feel comfortable as a person coming into this digital space, not knowing this community so
I try to go
much.
for the vibe of just a chat between friends with a bunch of flies on the wall, kind of listening.
It's really lovely. It's really lovely. And thank you all for being and looking at the chat. Like you can actually see me looking at you. But yeah, thanks everyone for also listening.
Absolutely, Michael. I can't wait to our next catch up. We won't make it be so long, I promise.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready. I'm coming up. I just brushed my teeth, did my hair. I'm coming out.
I love it. I'm going to share your link one more time for everybody. You guys should definitely get a session with Michael. His sessions are amazing. I keep hearing wonderful things about it. You and I could try a session sometimes, Michael. That would be great.
I would love that.
That would be fun. We could talk about it on the podcast sometime.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's fun because that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, that sounds fun. Let's play.
I love you guys. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Make sure you give Michael support and check him out on Facebook. And you have Instagram or anything else that people can follow you on?
Yeah, search Michael James Garber. That's Instagram, Facebook as well. And I think there's something in there. It's all, if you sign up for the newsletter on Embodied Light Institute, all that stuff will get emailed out to you. There's one more thing that I want to say to everybody. This is coming from a Buddhist practice. when you find yourself at a pattern of suffering, and you're in your story around it, I shouldn't be like this, or blah 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 blah. You can use your suffering to help the collective by dedicating your process to others that feel this way. You can be in it and think, let's say it's a matter of like shame around a pattern of some kind. Think, okay, I feel this pain this way, this pattern. That means others must feel this way. See if you can think of a few other people that might also have that. If those people also have that, there's probably even more. Allow yourself to think, oh, through time, maybe there was more people in times I've never even thought of that have had this pattern. And then from that place of expanded connection, you can dedicate, well, as I work my way through this, may it serve the healing and restoration and liberation of all beings throughout time and space who have suffered in this way. Let me suffer all the way and transform this for all. And so that way you can use your pattern that you're stuck in, that you're not so comfortable with, as an offering to the collective transformation that's happening right now.
I love that. What a mic drop.
Yeah.
I love that. Beautifully said, Michael. Thank you for that. Wonderful insight you've given for people today. One last question. Meg wants to know what island you're on.
Kopangan. Khpangan. It's a really lovely place. There's lots of yoga here. There's lots of detox centers. It's like if you want to come and set up, a week with yourself to get like activated, to get some healing, to be around people that are like in their practice, come to this island. It is very unique. I had a very specific dream, same dream, 6 months apart. So I had it twice, that told me this is where I needed to be. And at first I was like, I don't want to go there. I've been there already.
Always listen to those. Always listen to those things.
I'm so glad that I did, because it's I'm super blessed and fortunate to be here, and it's a wonderful place. So come if you can.
Every time I have one of those dreams, I follow it every single time, and it's led me some of my best adventures. So yes, keep that going. Awesome.
Bless you all.
Love everybody.
Well. Take care. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Oh, Michael, that was